This broadcast is a Stephen K. Media production.
The success of the small business person is the cornerstone of the American economy. Welcome to the Small Business Today Show with your hosts, Cruz and Hughes. The Small Business Today Show is for and about small business advancement and development. What we do for you. We'll be taking your calls as we provide you small business intelligence and mentorship needed to grow your business creatively. Keep listening. The Small Business Today Show with Cruz and Hughes starts now.
Hello and welcome back to today's episode where you get to hear two of the craziest guys on the air talk about small business at the end of your business day. This is John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And we are talking about Small Business Today Matters, and we're going to sort of pick up where we left off yesterday. But guys, if you're listening to us, then you know that you're in the right place, because this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. If you want to join the conversation and talk to Irv and myself, pick up the phone, give us a call, 347-857-3958. Again, that number here in the studio is 347-857-3958. Irv, how was your day today, sir?
Man, I had a good day today. Spent most of the day on the phone.
Well, that's a good thing.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like, but I didn't get to get out. And,
didn't get a chance to get out in the sunshine.
Yeah, man, I want to get out and grip and grin, and
that's one of the reasons why I like sales so much.
Yeah,
once I realized that I was required to be outside of the office,
right,
I fell in love with it.
Oh my God, I messed around and sold something.
Did you really?
And then I had to stay in the office to take care of it.
Oh yeah, that normally happens. You go out and you get the egg, and then you got to sit on it.
Yeah. You know what? John, I don't want to sit on eggs.
Well, I'm just saying, sometimes it's like that when you make a sale.
Well, it's better than laying on them.
Yeah, I guess it would be.
You could just lay them,
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
No.
Let the hens lay them.
Yeah, let the hens lay them. And, if you have to sit on them, you're going to get me in trouble.
I'm trying not to. Well, you know what? I just had someone who asked me, if you're not friends with me on Facebook, I encourage you to become friends with me on Facebook.
Oh, boy, here we go.
And you can find me by typing in my name, John Cruz, on Facebook. And also find me on LinkedIn, because I love meeting new and interesting people. I'd love to meet you. Find me on there. Tell me that you listen to the show, and anything I can do to help you out in terms of me getting Irv to dump out more knowledge that's inside of his head. Just let me know, and I'll prod him from right here to his right. But nonetheless, on my Facebook, there's no picture of me as my photo. There's just a picture of my neck wearing a pink tie, and with that, I have on a black T-shirt.
I see.
So I got a T-shirt on and a pink necktie.
Well, now you're making some sort of fashion statement, I take it, with that, because now I happen to have seen you on most days, and that is, to me, not very Cruz-like.
Well, it isn't, but let me tell you about the power of women. For those men who listen to the show, if you do not know this, consider yourselves educated. I'm watching the football game Sunday night,
right?
And I'm watching, and the Texans are playing, and I'm just getting sick and tired of seeing football players wearing pink accents.
Oh boy,
on their uniforms.
Okay, John.
And I made the mistake of typing that in on Facebook. And my inbox filled up like you wouldn't believe. I had more women that were saying to me that I was so insensitive, and how could I say such a thing? It's for breast cancer awareness. And I had to go back and say to these women, I'm not an animal. Please believe that. I'm not insensitive to the cause. It had nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that I'm just a little tired of seeing the pink.
So what you said and what they heard were not necessarily the same.
Oh, they weren't the same thing.
They weren't
the same thing. And I love the fact that you have an organization out there that is bringing awareness to such a serious,
that's wonderful,
debilitating disease.
Right. I
just don't like so many rough guys on the gridiron, wearing pink. I'm just a little tired of it.
Yeah.
But they took it the wrong way, so I had to hurry up, get off my couch, go and find something pink,
right? Take
a photo of me, and then put that up as my status to let them know that I am definitely in support of breast cancer awareness.
John. I'm a giant John Cruz fan. I really am.
Thank you, sir.
And here's the thing, folks. John Cruz had something pink in his closet. All right, I'm just.
Oh, and then all the guys got on me about the fact a pink necktie.
I'm
John.
trying to think now. You need to call us if you have a pink necktie in your closet because we need to ask you some questions. But I'm, I can see you having a pink tie, or maybe we shouldn't call it pink. Maybe we should call it salmon.
Somebody did put a post and they said, "Hey, the salmon tie."
Yeah,
I'm like, "Nah, it's pink."
Yeah. I was trying to clean it up for you, man.
Yeah, no, it's pink. But
Okay,
I'm gonna tell you, I am a fashion person at times, and
At times,
and pink goes quite nicely with some of the things that I have in my closet.
John,
So find me on Facebook, become my friend, and you'll see some of the posts that you will see with the pressure I had to endure the night of the game. But I wanted to say this, I cannot remember who said it. I want to give credit to James E. Tollison. I'm not certain that it was. You know what? It was James E. Tollison. I'm going to give him the credit.
Okay.
He said the best salespeople in the world are who? You have any idea? Who do you think would be the best salesperson in the world?
Best salesperson in the world would be a woman.
Close. Children are number one.
Children number one.
Women are number two.
Women.
And then men are a distant third. So if you ever want to sell something in your business, you want children as your salespeople,
right? No doubt.
Or women.
That's right.
And I actually put a post on my Facebook saying that women truly have the power to evoke change in this world when men cannot.
Well,
because they made me get off the couch and go and tie a necktie around my neck.
How awesome!
Take
is
a
that?
photo and post it on Facebook. So, and I said I'm leaving it up for the rest of October. So,
that's awesome.
Oh, it's staying up.
How cool is that? Well, you know what though, women control so much money.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, they have so much power. Because let's be honest, John, I don't know about you, but most of the men that I know, men buy houses, cars, boats, and insurance. And that's about it.
Yeah.
We don't really buy much else. Women buy everything else.
Well, let me tell you this. Everything that a man buys is to please a woman. Really, essentially, they buy everything.
Yeah, that's the point.
They send us out. We kill the bear.
That's right.
And we come back and they say, no, I didn't want a black one. I wanted a brown one. And we go back out there.
Okay, all right. A good brown bear now. Okay.
So, but women are definitely the best salespeople. So, guys, if you do not have women in your organization, you definitely need to diversify the breadth of personnel that you have working for you, and definitely include women. I love having women on the staff because they do add a balance, a yang to our yin, as it were.
No doubt. And not only that, but guys tend to be on better behavior when women are
Yes,
around.
they are. Absolutely, they are. They don't put their feet on the table as much and that sort of thing. You're absolutely right. The boardroom is a place of I guess you could say with manners.
That's right. That's right. Oh, that's good. I like that.
All right. Yesterday we talked a little bit about the Romney, Ryan, Obama, Biden tickets.
That's right.
And we talked about some of the things that were happening in this country as it relates to small business. We talked a little bit about their tax policy. And I know what you're probably thinking. If you didn't listen to yesterday's show, you're probably saying, look, I thought you guys didn't talk about news, politics. And was it the O.J. Simpson trial?
No, not the O.J. Simpson trial. Oh, my God.
Religion. Those are the topics we normally stay away from. But yesterday we did talk about that, and we talked a little bit about what the tax policy means in the sense that if they're increasing taxes on someone, it's based on a business that makes $250,000 in profit. And our point is that most of America, who are small businesses, have a lot of work to do before they have to worry about that. And we're trying to, I'm going to stop using the word try. We're making the effort to help get you past that point so that you become someone who is definitely making that type of money. Now, we segued that into the NFIBs, which is the National Federation of Independent Business. They released its report called Small Business Problems and Priorities, and they released that this month. And Irv and I talked about what the 10 biggest problems and priorities were, and we went through those and talked a little bit about each one, and we didn't get a chance to finish up on yesterday, so today I guess you can consider this part 2 to that conversation. But we found it quite interesting of some of the topics that were in the bottom 10.
That's right.
And it does leave you to wonder, like, who are some of the people that they asked these questions to.
Right.
Because I know some people in small business
Sure.
that some of these bottom 10 would probably be closer to their top 10.
Well, that's exactly right. And that's why I really believe, John, it's going to be important for us to touch on these today, because I'd like to see us talk about the balance between these two and perhaps even discuss why these are the bottom 10 when I think some of these should be in the top 10.
I would have to agree. And you know, and the NFIB does not give us information on who the people were.
No, they just give us the numbers.
And I'm going to tell you something. Using a word like small business, that's such an ambiguous word. I mean, it covers a broad swath
Right.
of companies. And I mean, you think about it, a small business, depending on who you ask and where you read, could be something as small as one person doing business out of their home.
Right.
And it could be as big as a company with hundreds of employees making millions of dollars a
That's
year,
right.
and they still be considered a small business.
Well, and let me just tell you something else, too, about that, John. You know, a small business based on the SBA size standards.
What is that?
Well, that's what I was going to tell you. A net worth of $18 million or less. All right. So
Okay.
so that's one of the first cuts. But depending on your industry, it could be larger than that.
Really?
Yes.
So that's not the
No. It's
Wow.
it's broken down by industry. A lot of people don't know that.
So depending on the industry, depends on what
Yeah.
is considered small.
Exactly. You could be a small business depending on the industry, and you could be doing $50 million, and that way you'd still be a small business.
Well, that's good news to know, guys. So you got to keep that in mind as we talk about the bottom 10. Understand that there's a lot of different types of companies that could have answered this survey, and we want to know what's important to you. Join the conversation. Give us a call, 347-857-3958. More in a moment with John Cruz and Irv Hughes. You're listening to Small Business Today. It's brought to you by the only magazine that you should be reading as it relates to business strategy, which is Small Business Today magazine. To get your free copy, go to smallbusinesstodaymagazine.com. Put your information in. We'll be glad to send it to you each and every month. Stick around. We'll be right back in a moment.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Steven, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now,
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
This storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, welcome back to the show. One of the things I didn't mention is that you could go to our website, which is www.cruzandhughes.com. That's CRUISE and ANDHUGHES. That's cruzandhughes.com. And there's a section on there also where you can see the bios for Urban and myself. And I believe that we have our links there that go to our social media sites. So definitely befriend us. We'd love to meet you and talk more about what you do. All right. Now, we were talking a little bit about in the last segment the bottom 10 that made the list on the National Federation of Independent Business, the bottom 10 of the Small Business Problems and Priorities report.
Right.
And why don't we jump into those, since we understand, first of all, that a small business could be anything from, you losing money every year to having a net worth of 18 million or more.
That's right. That's right.
But we'll talk about these, and I'm just concerned. What do these mean to you? If you'd like to pick up the phone and respond, you can always give us a call at 347-857-3958 and tell us a little bit about what you think and what you do. Now, the number 66, there are only 75 items that were scored.
Sure.
And the bottom 10 starts with number 66, and it was credit rating and record errors. And I would think that since most business people associate their ability to get financing from banks with being, directly related to what's on their credit report, I would think that they would have a bigger worry than this being all the way down at the bottom of the list.
Unless you're a person who was surveyed who already has excellent credit.
Maybe so.
Now that's not a concern of yours.
That's very true.
See, and that's kind of what I was getting at. But guess what? The second part of that, John, has to do with record errors. Okay, if you have good credit, folks, and there are errors in your credit, and let me just tell you, the chances are that you do have errors in your credit, and the chances are about 85% that you have some error somewhere in your credit records. But here's the rub. If you have good credit and there's an error in there, even though you've worked hard, you've done the right things, you've kept up with your business, you've paid your bills on time, and now you have an error, guess what? You now have limited your ability to access capital and credit from other sources.
Right.
And so, to me, that should have been a top 10 point.
Or at least a top 20.
Oh, at least. Not 66.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, I'm like, well, wait a minute. Now, who are these people? Because the only people that I can think of, John, who where this makes sense, where it's not a priority, is people who already have excellent credit. They know they have excellent credit, and
they wish somebody would put something on their credit.
Exactly. They're one of those kind of folks.
Well, and even still, and I don't remember what the exact scenario was, but I want to say when I was in the mortgage banking business, it was something like 74%, or I know it was in the 70s. It was like 7. We'll just cut it down to 70. Like 70% of all reports had some erroneous information in it.
Right. But John, that would look when that was, and now if you fold in the consolidation of credit reporting between business and personal, that number goes up.
Wow. That's
the point.
Yeah.
I mean, because now, I don't know if some people know, maybe our listeners do already know, but some of the, it's not just Dun and Bradstreet, even though they're the biggest and the oldest as far as business credit reporting goes.
Mm-hmm.
But now you have Experian Business, Experian is in the
Right.
game now.
Right.
Now Equifax is in the game now. And these are generally consumer credit reporting agencies, and now they're coming over into the commercial space to consolidate these things. And you know what? A lot of people don't know, John, but that affects small business because that's the people they're targeting with this.
Yeah.
Is that 1 or 2 or 3 person small business, because now that person's not only they're trying to eliminate the space between the business and personal credit.
You know, and it's still important. If you are a business that makes less than $10 million in gross annual sales, your personal credit is very, very important, and is generally it's going to be the foundation of what's used for a bank to extend you credit. I don't know too many banks that extend credit for people on a corp only status.
No.
When you make less than $10 million in sales.
No, there's a handful, but I've never met them.
Okay, all right. So to me, personal credit definitely should have been just a little higher on the list.
I think a little higher,
but it rounds out the bottom 10. It's, I guess you could call it number 1 on the bottom 10.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
All right. So the next one would be number 67.
Yeah, protecting intellectual property.
Now, you think as many people as we see, the number of intellectual property lawsuits that have arisen over the last 10 years, how many people now go through great lengths of protecting intellectual property? Because that was a term that wasn't used as often 20 years ago.
That's right.
But now, you know, everywhere you turn, there's intellectual property for artists, especially, you know, and with this great awareness, I would think that, you know, this should be more important. But then that lets me know the people out there who are still doing business that don't consider what they do have not placed an intellectual value on what they do.
And let me tell you what, know-how is one of the ones that is the most abused of all of the intellectual properties, because you know, people are familiar with patents, right? They're familiar with trademarks,
copyrights.
They're familiar with copyright. But then there's one other intellectual property that's abused by most small business. And I say abused because they don't even take the time to value it, let alone protect it. And that is know-how. And that's when you can take seemingly unrelated elements, and because of the way you do it, you add value.
So what you're saying is that my process that I use is possible intellectual property.
It is intellectual property.
It is.
It is. That's the point. It is intellectual property. It's not just what you do, but it's how you do what you do. For example, you know, we have a good friend who is you know, kind of a medical service provider. But how he does business versus all of his competitors is what allows him to compete very well in the space. All right.
So he has a specific process for his business.
That's right.
And that is his intellectual value or his property.
That he created, mind you.
Okay.
He didn't get it from somebody. He created it.
Okay.
All right. And so that's how he runs his business profitably. All right. That alone, because it makes money, now has a value, even though that is that's an asset of the mind, if you will. And that's what an intellectual property is. See, folks, the minute you have, a lot of people don't believe that their mind, a product of the mind or an asset of the mind, is actually an asset. And yes, it's an asset. And know-how is a big deal.
And it does have value.
It absolutely has value, because if you teach somebody how to do what you do the way you do it, and here's the biggie, and you teach them well enough to get the results that you get, now you've created and packaged and now have a value on an intellectual property, but that's know-how.
And you know, and I think that makes sense, because it stands to reason that when a business decides to buy another business, you're not necessarily buying the product. Although you may buy some rights to products, you're not necessarily buying staff. You're not necessarily buying the real estate in which they sit. You're buying that process that makes that business valuable. That process for how they do something is what stands out to you.
That's exactly correct. And sometimes the reason why, and I know why people devalue this know-how aspect of intellectual property, and it's because the only protection that you really have for know-how is a trade secret, because it's a process. It's not something that you can necessarily patent all the time. Now, some processes absolutely you can patent, folks. We're not attorneys here, so you'd have to check with an intellectual property attorney. But for the most part, an intellectual property that's in the category of know-how is one of those things that you can only protect basically by trade secret. For example, the Coca-Cola formula.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
How they make Coca-Cola.
Right.
We don't know that.
No, we don't.
Okay. We can get close. We can try to reverse engineer it, but the truth is we don't know what that process is.
Yeah.
And that's the point.
Well, and I don't know at what size you have to become before you should consider maybe talking to someone like an intellectual property attorney to figure out what is the value and how do you protect it. But I'm certain if you have a business that's making somewhere in the low millions of dollars, I think it's probably worth a conversation or two to maybe talk about what is our intellectual value, what is the true value of our company, and if it is those processes in which we do that no one else in our space does, how do we protect that?
Well, let me put it to you this way: one of the methods, the measures for measuring value is how much money profit did you make off of it, and if it's $500,000 or more, guess what? You better talk to an intellectual property professional.
Well, we're not attorneys here, but we can definitely recognize when it's time to speak to one. So if that definitely describes your business, it would be worth you considering speaking to someone to make certain that you have a process that's definitely identified and you know how to protect that.
When we come back, we'll touch on the rest of the list. Folks, you're listening
8 more to go.
8 more to go. You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by the Lexington Law Firm. When you need credit help, get a free consultation today by calling 888-744-7081. More in a moment. The education continues right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
This storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? A ghost Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
All right, welcome back to the show. We're talking about the 10 least severe problems on the National Federation of Independent Business. They released a report called Small Business Problems and Priorities this month, and yesterday we focused on what the 10 most or the 10 severest issues were with small business, the biggest problems, and now we're focusing on what was at the bottom of the list, and it just sort of shocked Irvin and I that some of these were at the bottom of the list.
Yeah,
they consider 75 different factors, and we started at number 66 and we're going through to number 75, and we're just interested that how some of these made the bottom of the list and we're not closer to the top. Now, number 68 is competition from imported products.
Yeah. That's John. That's kind of a touchy one.
Okay.
And the reason why I say that is because of the trade deficit, right?
All right.
If you heard the debates, and I know a lot of you have heard the Obama Romney debates,
right?
Which I really thought we were going to make history when they started getting nose to nose. I thought perhaps Romney was going to reach out and touch the president.
That it was going to be MMA.
Yeah, and I thought for sure we were going to make history, or we were going to see the Secret Service run out and actually deck a candidate. But so anyway, I'm sorry about that.
It didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
So you turned the channel.
I did. There's no fight there. Well, but no. Competition from imported products, because of the trade deficit. One of the problems that's out there, if you will, in small business is there are a ton of importers who are importing products from around the world and selling them here in America. All right. Well, when we say a trade deficit, what we're talking about is there's so much more foreign product coming into the U.S.
than what's going out.
And that creates a spread. It creates an issue.
Right.
And so for small businesses, I'm curious as to how this wound up so far down the list when there is so much government support for people who are exporting.
Right.
So I'm curious, John. I'm wondering, maybe small businesses don't know how much money they could make by exporting U.S. products.
Well, I think there's a big cost factor, and you're probably more well-versed on this topic than I am. But when I look at these these people who are importing into our country, we can't compete with the cost of labor.
Well, that's very true.
So, for the most part, I think most small business people don't feel that if you're sending products in here and I'm buying them from you at 99 cents and I'm turning around and selling them at $2,
right?
Then I know that I can't even hire people,
right?
That could help us put out a widget whereby we could sell at a competitive price.
Well, and you're right about that, but that's where scarcity comes in to the mix.
Okay.
Exporting, folks, is about scarcity, right? For example, you probably can't sell U.S. oil to the Arabs because they have oil.
Right.
You see what I'm getting at?
Right. Absolutely.
All right. But now, the minute they don't have oil, where oil now is scarce, now you could sell U.S. oil because they'd be willing to pay what they need to pay to get it. That's the point.
Okay.
And so to export U.S. products requires a little bit of expertise and a little bit of homework and a little bit of study to find out what's needed in the world and where there is scarcity, because now that's where profit is. But a lot of small businesses don't take those steps
to do that research.
And just find it out. It's not like it's rocket science, by the way.
Yeah.
These studies are already out there.
Okay. Well, number 69.
Number 69, winning contracts from federal, state, and local governments. Now, that's a hot
How
button
in the heck could that be so low on the overall list?
I don't know.
In terms of being one of the least severe issues that we're faced with at small business, because just about every small business that I know of ultimately wants to grow up one day.
That's right.
And do business with the government.
Absolutely. And guess what? Here's the thing. It's so bad, John, that government agencies are holding all kinds of programs and seminars and how-to workshops and everything else trying to find small businesses and get them to come and compete for these contracts. And it just blows my mind that it's way down on the list, perhaps because they don't care about winning a government contract. But guess what? If you're a small business, folks, that's good money.
Yes.
Yes, it's a hassle. I'll be the first to say, because I can hear some of you right now saying, yeah, Irv, but selling to the government is a hassle. Yes, it's a hassle. And then after that, it's not a hassle. It's
so
beautiful.
Getting in is like going through your initiation. Once you go through all the rigmarole that's called for you to become qualified to do business with them.
Right.
So then you're saying that it's much easier to maintain your status.
No doubt.
Okay.
No doubt.
So just get in.
Just get in. Go through the stuff. It's front end loaded, folks. All right. Run the gauntlet, because that's what it is. It's a gauntlet to keep people out who shouldn't be there.
Yeah.
All right.
And I'm sure in your city or state that they're making the same push to do business with small business that they're doing right here in Houston. And as you put it, some like Metro here, the city of Houston.
That's right.
They are really making a push to qualify small businesses, to help them with bonding issues, to help them meet prime contractors.
No doubt.
So they're doing everything that they can to develop these people so that they can compete and get some of this money. Because when you look at some of the changes that we're making in these cities, they're making multi-billion-dollar changes. We're adding, a freeway around 2 freeways.
That's right.
And when you think about it, they want small business to participate, and I'm certain it's the same in your city. I don't understand. Now the only time that this would not be a big deal to me is if I'm making enough money in the private sector. Then why would I need to worry about doing business with?
Well, again, that's what I'm getting at. So or perhaps you think that it's impossible to sell to the government. Maybe you've never even thought about it.
Yeah.
So maybe that's a driver for that.
Number 70 is using social media to promote business, and they're talking about Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, et cetera, et cetera. Now, I don't know. I guess I can understand why that would probably be that just doesn't seem.
That one I can kind of get to.
Yeah.
I can kind of get to that because, quite honestly, you want to spend your marketing effort and your marketing money where your customers are.
Yeah.
And so if your customers are not doing social media and you don't have a product or a service that caters to people who are moving around in those circles, then I could see you being a small business saying, no, my time and money effort would be better spent somewhere else.
Or if you have someone where you've hired someone to take care of that aspect of your business for you, then it's not really a concern.
No, exactly.
And I'm thinking,
being done.
Middle schools are chock full of computer wizards that are helping companies like myself.
That's right.
Overcome their issues as it relates to just about anything technical.
Look, I've got 2.
Yeah,
no, 3. No, 4. No, I think I got 4. Yeah.
Well, so my thing is I can understand why that one is not as big a deal as some of the others that we've talked about.
Sure. So how about this one? Costs and frequency of lawsuits and threatened lawsuits. How about that one? Now you don't care about being sued.
That to me, now I'd really like to know who answered this question, because for that to be all the way down at number 71,
right,
in terms of importance,
right,
one being most important, this one ranks number 71. I guess these people who answered this question haven't been sued.
I would guess so.
Because once you've been sued, then you always have that fear.
That's right.
Because it's not a matter of if.
Right.
As long as you are in business and doing business, it's definitely when the next lawsuit is coming. How much am I going to have to spend to protect myself, and how is that going to affect my business?
That's right.
And you have to be prepared for that. Anybody that's doing any amount of sustainable business in this country,
amount of business,
especially, and we talked on this show. We did almost an entire episode on why being an incorporation is so important. And one of those reasons is to protect from lawsuits, considering that what's the number? I think 80% of the world's lawsuits all happen right inside the United States.
That's right.
So how could you not? How could you not be?
I don't know.
About that?
It was just really interesting that some of these wound up at the very bottom of the list.
Wow. Well, in our ranking, I think that would rank closer. I'm not going to say it necessarily be in the top 10, but it would be very, very clear. It may be number 11.
Yeah, it probably would not. It probably would not be 71.
Yeah, not 71. Not good, because I am worried every time I engage a customer. Think about McDonald's. I mean, you give a woman a couple $1 million for spilling some hot coffee in her own lap in her own car, and I got to give her a couple $1 million.
Well, yeah, but you didn't tell me that it was hot. So.
It's called coffee.
Yeah. Well, it wasn't iced coffee, so I had
yeah. So what, a frappe or whatever that thing is called?
Yeah, what's the right way?
I have no idea. But my thing is that you should be worried as a small business, and you should be doing those things to protect yourself, whatever that may be. I don't want to get into.
Don't drill down.
Yeah, that's a different show. All right, number 72. Again, I'm amazed. Is employee turnover.
Now you don't care about your people either.
You don't care about being sued. You don't care about losing employees.
Right.
That, I think, would definitely be in my top 10.
It would have to be in my top 10 because let me tell you what, folks, finding and keeping good people is not the easiest thing on the planet. And so when you're taking the investment to hire, train, teach, mentor, really develop an employee, only to find out that you've developed them to a point where now they're going to leave.
It could actually run your business out of business.
Absolutely.
I mean, if you're having retention problems, that's
right.
a very, very serious issue.
That's a sticky point right there, man. You're talking about getting into worlds of trouble and in a hurry. And yes, it will absolutely hit you right in the balance sheet.
Well, I want to talk about that a little more when we come back.
Okay, we'll do that. All right, this is good stuff, man. I'm liking this, John. So we should keep this up.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we'll do that. Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. It's brought to you by Ring Central. To get Ring Central's virtual PBX for your business, you can call us today at 888-716-5022. More in a moment, right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cuny is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancuny.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market,
And this alternative is...
coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
The storm's coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham's Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today. Visit us on the web at cruzandhughes.com. Here are your hosts, Cruz and Hughes.
Okay, in the last segment, we closed out with talking about on the NFIB's list of problems and priorities for Small Business America. They looked at 75 different factors and they ranked those factors, one being the most important, the biggest problems or issues that Small Business America is faced with. And the bottom of that list, all the way down to number 75, are the things that are the least
Correct.
important.
Correct.
And employee turnover, as we just talked about, is at the bottom of the list. It's number 72.
Yeah. Yeah. And so maybe you already got all your good employees and you're not looking to hire.
Well, then why? Then why are we sitting at what truly could be 19 or 20% unemployment?
No
in
doubt,
this
and
country?
it probably really is.
Yeah, I mean, despite what the pundits say, I think it's much higher than that.
I think if you factor in the people who have given up by now,
Yeah.
who knows what that number is.
Yeah, I mean, we could be just over 20%, but
Sure.
But the thing is, I don't know. And as Irv put it, a huge investment goes into training and ramping up a new hire.
No doubt.
And you need that new hire, depending on the type of organization that you're in and the difficulty of their job. There's a certain amount of time that they have to stay there and perform to get to your break-even point.
That's
and I think as a
absolutely
small
correct.
business, you need to know what that time is. First of all, as a business, you need to know what you're investing in these employees so that you can keep a real life estimate on how long I need these people to stay motivated, and stay functional so that it's worth it to the organization.
That's right. There is a business performance parameter that people like myself, commercial bankers and consultants, look at, and it's called profit per employee. And boy, you can tank that ratio really quick by employee turnover.
So having lots of turnover, I think it's something that you definitely want to keep your eye on. I think it's more important than number 72 on a list of 75. It should be closer to the top.
That's what I would think. Except here's one though, John, that should be probably number 75.
All right.
Is access to high-speed internet. What do you think of that?
How did that even make the list?
High-speed internet is everywhere, folks. Come on, you have it on your phone. If you have a 4G phone, you have high-speed internet access. I don't know how.
Yeah, and I can see why it's so close to the bottom. I mean, who doesn't have high-speed? My mother lives on 200 acres of land.
Sure.
She can't even see a house in any direction, no matter where she looks. And she has high-speed internet.
Well, there you go.
So the thing is, I can see why that's at the bottom of the list. In this country, that's something that we probably take for granted, but we have it everywhere. So.
Yeah, but it's listed at 73 and not 75.
Well, that's true. It should be the last.
I would think it would be the last thing. Okay, how about this one? Undocumented workers.
I think it really depends on the industry that you're in.
Well, that's true.
Because if I'm running a professional organization, I don't know how many banking organizations that you do business with that you feel may have one or two undocumented workers.
I don't think there would be not one.
So naturally, for you, this would be at the bottom of the list.
Sure.
But for someone, if I'm running a construction company,
right,
then my fear level is it's on level 10.
Sure.
Because I don't want to get caught by the government for employing these people.
Because who knows what the penalty for that is?
Who knows what it is?
I mean, the Iceman cometh.
Yeah.
And then he shows up at your business and he wants to know what due diligence steps you took before you hired this person that they've been looking for.
Right. And you don't want to be a party to anything underhanded in your business. And so I think it just really depends on the industry that you're actually in terms of how important this is.
I can agree with that. And I can see that too. And then I guess our last one here, and this one is kind of near and dear to my heart.
This is the least most important issue for Small Business America.
Right. And it's the reason why we have a trade deficit is exporting my products and services. Exporting.
So people aren't worried about exporting their
At
products
all.
and services.
At all. At all. You don't even want to export U.S. made products. You don't even want to try.
And again, I'd like to know who they asked.
Yeah, well,
because a service like yours naturally would
Right.
be number 75.
That's right.
But
exactly.
if somebody makes something,
if
you are a manufacturer,
right,
how can this not be in your top 10?
I just don't get it. And the thing is that if exporting U.S. products among U.S. small businesses is the bottom of the list in a survey like this, it begs the question, do you honestly think there is no profit in exporting? Maybe that's the driver for that being dead last.
And that's not the case. If you do any research, especially if you make something that's also sold overseas, the people who are doing it aren't doing it for their health.
No.
They're doing it for the profit.
That's exactly right. And I'm reminded of a business, a client that I had that was selling Fuji film, John. Fuji film. Now this is back in
This was years ago.
This was years ago. They were selling film. Okay. And in some countries, you can't get 35 millimeter film. And this guy was literally going to the local retailer and buying all the film that they could because retail, and buying all the film that he could get and exporting it overseas.
Wow.
At 4x of what he paid for.
Really?
That's right.
Over retail?
Over
price?
retail.
Wow.
That's what I'm getting at.
Well, I tell you what, that's the list. That's the least most important issues facing corporate America, or rather facing small business America. If you'd like to give us your thoughts and ideas, it's still not too late. You can give us a call, 347-857-3958. And I'd like to segue into boosting the economy. I think there's a lull and a lag in this economy that we are going through unnecessarily. And
what's the secret?
I want to read something to you, and I want to get your thoughts on this. Now, corporate America is sitting on top of the solution to the nation's unemployment problem.
I would agree.
And it's according to a report from a group of University of Massachusetts economists called the Political Economy Research Institute. They put out this report, and they say America's largest banks and non-financial companies are hoarding an estimated $3.6 trillion with a T.
That's right.
$3.6 trillion in cash. Now, according to the report, if corporate America would take that cash and put it into productive investments, it estimates that about 19 million jobs could be created over the next 3 years, which would lower the unemployment rate to under 5%. Now, my question to you, do you think that small businesses should mimic what large corporations are doing as it relates to hoarding this cash, reducing their spending, and running lean as it relates to hiring people to work in their organizations?
No, small businesses, your country needs you. That's the point. Hoarding does not work. All right. Do you need to be careful with spending? Of course you do. But do you hoard what you have to the point that you're no longer making investments? Now I think you got a real issue there. Do you not want to grow your business because you're afraid? Well, I got that, but here's the rub. I think if you start hoarding, right, what you do is now anything you're hoarding is not out at work. That's the point.
Right.
And that cripples the economy. And it's the same thing that happens with very wealthy people. If something happens in the economy that scares them, that threatens their nest egg, if you will, the thing that they're investing, they're not going back to work. They're not going back and getting a job. So the point is, anything that keeps them worried about whether or not they're going to lose their nest egg, the thing that's making them money, guess what, folks? They're going to reel that back and they're going to hoard. And therein lies the problem. And small business should not be doing that, in my estimation.
Well, Irv, you've had the last word on that.
Folks, you're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Hey, it's brought to you by MegaSuits. MegaSuits offers an extensive collection of quality business clothing such as men's suits, dress shirts, shoes, and accessories. You can call MegaSuits today at 888-349-2910. Stay with us. We're in the home stretch. We're going to have some more right after this.
Turn up the sales on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Anything Internet will evaluate your website for marketing power, for traffic, for conversion rates. We'll figure out why people buy and why people go away. We'll help you generate the correct traffic that will turn into customers and make you money. Turn the juice up on your website today with anythinginternet.com. Turn your website into a web business. 1-800-686-5986.
Very often, people come to me saying,
Stephen, how do I make radio advertising work?
or even worse,
We've tried radio ads before and got little to no response.
so how do you make the radio work for you? Well, you could have a clever jingle.
Come buy my stuff. Come buy my stuff.
Or you may act crazy and loud and have an unbeatable offer.
I'll save you cash, I'll save you time, and I'll do it today, guaranteed.
But these techniques may work for some and not for others. The real key to advertising is to go back to basic marketing principles. Target your ideal prospect, make your message clear and concise, and touch the listener by connecting to their needs. Stephen K. Media specializes in radio advertising promotion that effectively broadcasts your company's message, yielding higher response and better results. As an independent agency representing major talk radio stations, we help you negotiate rates and place your ads targeting your ideal prospect. Call us today at 713-278-9109 or visit stephenk.biz. That's 713-278-9109 or email info@stephenk.biz. Are you looking to improve your health and well-being? Have you lost your energy and vitality? Do you wake up feeling 10 years older than you actually are? Looking for a doctor who really listens? Looking for a natural alternative to your chronic health challenge? Dr. Dan Cooney is a chiropractic nutritionist who helps restore your health from the inside out using whole food supplements and specific nutritional counseling. Learn more about Dr. Dan's 7 Pillars of Health on his website, drdancooney.com, or give him a call at 713-295-9358.
Introducing the alternative to heavy news. Now
Excuse me, heavy news?
you know, disasters, politics, stock market.
And this alternative is...
Coffee news. It's entertaining stories, famous quotes, and family fun. It's light news. Why it's so light, it's free.
Free?
In restaurants and coffee shops all across Houston. So next time you're waiting in a restaurant, look for coffee news. If they don't have it, tell them to get it by visiting coffeenewshouston.com.
It's light. It's free. It's coffee news.
Now playing at Regal Entertainment Group Theaters.
From Christopher Nolan,
There's a storm coming.
the legend ends in IMAX. What are you? I'm Gotham Reckoning. The Dark Knight Rises. Rated PG-13. Visit IMAX.com for showtimes and listings.
Go to www.regmovies.com to find showtimes and buy your tickets to this and other great feature films now. That's www.regmovies.com.
You're listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. Follow us on LinkedIn, Facebook, and Twitter. We're wherever you are.
Okay, welcome back to the show. We've sort of wrapped up our segment on the NFIB's report that was titled Small Business Problems and Priorities. We went through what the top 10 were. We talked about what the bottom 10 were, and sort of gave our thoughts on those issues. Now, if you're in the Houston area, we have a couple of events that are coming up.
Yeah.
And Irv, I know you have a calendar there in front of you.
Yeah, I've got, you know what, I'm going to be doing business financing basics, and I'm going to be doing this, and I do this from time to time in conjunction with the Mayor's Office of the City of Houston and their Office of Business Opportunity. I'm going to be at the Oak Forest Neighborhood Library. That's coming up Saturday, November 3rd from 12 to 2. And if you want to get registered for that, you can give them a call at 832-393-1960, or you can just email me here at the show at Irvin, that's ERVIN, at cruzandhughes.com.
And tomorrow, Thursday, I will be speaking on the topics of marketing in the 21st century, and I'll be speaking at 2500 East TC Jester, which is on the first floor. I'll be at the first floor conference room, and I'm speaking for a group called Houston Business Executives. You can go to their website. It's a free event. You can come in. It's from 9 a.m. in the morning till 11 a.m., so we get you out of there just before lunchtime. But we're going to be talking about marketing in the 21st century, some things that you can do with your business to turn business around, sort of jumpstart your creativity. And if you would like more information, you can go to HoustonBusinessExecutives.com.
And folks, come out and get in the small business community. Come out and meet John and I. We're always around in the community doing something. Most of these things are free. This thing that I'm going to be doing is free also. We do a lot in the community, in and around the community here at Cruz and Hughes, so you can certainly come out and visit with us. We'd love to meet you.
Thank you for listening to Small Business Today with Cruz and Hughes. I'm John Cruz.
I'm Irv Hughes.
And this is the place where we discuss the topics that inspires entrepreneurs from thought to action. So until tomorrow, be smart, be successful, and above all else,
be in action.
And Irv and I will see you tomorrow.